Madison, welcome to the Taste Toast Travel Podcast. I'm very excited to dig into the world of wine with you today. And when I was like getting to know you, you have such a cool story that I don't even know all of the details of today. So I'm very excited to have you share with everybody. But you are an award-winning winemaker and have created VLA Acres Winery. Make sure I said that right, up in Canada. I will let you
Nailed it.
I will let you tell us all about that. But honestly, what I love about your story and what I was so kind of drawn to is, and this is definitely what one of the things I want to get into today, maybe we can start there, is it sounds like you went from like serving wine and studying wine to now making the wine and having your own winery, which must have been such a journey, one you were probably still on in a lot of ways. But yeah, just really looking forward to digging into, navigating life and your love and passion for wine, but also the ups and downs of business ownership, especially as we were kind of saying before we officially started recording, like the wine industry, it's in a very peculiar place right now. And it has been before too. This is certainly not the first time that wine has had a moment, but again, as a winemaker, I would love to hear your perspective. Also in a different country, this is another reason I love talking to people on this
Right.
podcast in other countries too, to like get out of our California wine bubble. So, welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on here. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to just talk about everything wine related.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's start with your story. So again, I would love to hear kind of like where you started, how you were introduced to wine, like how it just became your love and your passion.
Yeah, it's I guess it's like it's just been ever evolving and I feel like it's still even like I don't even think winemaker is like the end of the finish line. It still like keeps evolving from there.
Yeah.
So I work at a bar and it was like it was like a nice like fancy like fine dining bar. They used to do these wine pairing dinners and I didn't understand like what the big deal was, like food, wine, whatever,
Yeah.
and that kind of opened up a whole world to me about how like they're cross comparing like the same grape but from different countries and different styles and right bank versus left bank and stuff, and it's like what is the big deal, what is the big deal with the soil and the rocks, like it doesn't make sense to me. I'm 19. So that really kind of spiraled then into more of like the restaurant side of things. So then I discovered Wine Spirit Education Trust, go through like the sommelier, start going up through the levels. And then I was lucky enough to actually land a job in a winery. I had previously worked like in liquor stores, restaurants, then started working in a winery, and they needed help in all different departments, a couple days on bottling here, a couple days in the vineyard. And that really allowed me to branch out and then kind of really actually see what I liked. So like I was obsessed with the vineyard for a long time. So I would only do like vineyard work for a few years. Then I actually got to do my first harvest and I was like, oh my God, it's so much more fun making it.
That's humbling. Yes.
Yeah. It's yeah, and then from there, then I was like, okay, I gotta pivot again in my school. I'm probably gonna like perpetually be a wine student. I'm still actively in
I
school.
love that.
I keep thinking right now I'm going through my Court of Master Sommeliers actually, just not like for fun, but just because I've done like all these other schooling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not take this one? It's usually a bunch and you could study wine for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would really actually learn all of it. Like even if you were to just like focus on a country like Italy, like
Oh
there's
my
what
god.
over 50 native varietals.
Yeah.
Like it's
Just a few.
yeah.
Just
So
a few to try and
for-
memorize. Because John, he's a certified somm, and it's such a bummer. He was never able to get his advanced somm because he didn't have restaurant experience. They, like, put that rule or law or whatever into place, like, as he was, like, exploring doing that. So I was like, "Oh, that's such a" like, the whole service portion, which I understand, but such a missed opportunity. I felt so
where
sad for him in that because he's just like, "At this point in my
like
life, I'm
next
not gonna
level
do the restaurant thing." But it's a process, but to your point, yes, it's so expansive, and I think that's what we love about wine too, is there is always something to learn, but it can be so fun and so, like, nerdy and kind of interesting at the same time.
yeah, and it could take you around the world. So that's like
Yeah.
what I really like with the winemaking thing. Not that you can't work in tasting rooms around the world, but I
Yeah.
feel like better off getting like a winemaking job around the world because people bring on so many part-time, like seasonal help for harvest.
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So it's like, yes, okay, cool. So like with that, I was able to like travel around to New Zealand, to Australia. I was actually going to go to South Africa, and then COVID came in and it ruined all of my dreams. And then from there, I had to pivot again. So it's like, okay, so I'm here, I'm stuck at this winery, no one's really coming. It's like people are just coming, buying and leaving, like we're like losing it, right?
Yeah.
So then it was actually that's where I met my husband, and he was actually making wine.
Okay.
I mean, he has like a long, like super cool history of wine. Like he's like a seventh generation winemaker. But he's more experience based. Like he grew up in the winery I was working
Right.
at. And then he was making wine and he's like, I'm going to do a winery. Like, do you want to help me? And I was like, sure, why
Okay.
not? And I kind of excited from there. And then we had falling out with one of our business partners. So then it was just the two of us. And we were like, fuck it, we're still going to do it.
I love this energy for you. Not taking on a lot at all, but
No,
yeah.
just casual. It's, we were, we were very adventurous during COVID. We had really high hopes.
No kidding. Well, okay, so that's so interesting because COVID was, dare I say, a great time for wine. Again, I'm thinking very California here because that's kind of our lens. I don't want to speak for like you guys or the rest of the world, but there was such a huge boom in wine and it was drinking. And like,
Massive.
it's so interesting because I work on the digital marketing side of wine. So it was like very interesting to see the wineries kind of that I like worked for in that time. And then also working for like an agency, right? Kind of right before that happened, the buying behavior and all of that and everything that came with COVID, and then seeing businesses on the back end plan for what they thought were gonna be like this huge uptick in wine for, like, the foreseeable future, right? And then COVID goes away, right? We kinda are finding ourselves getting out of it, and now again, this is years later now, but we're in a interesting spot, as I alluded to in the beginning, and so did you g yeah, kinda, like, walk me through COVID and then, like, post-COVID. Did you guys see that too? What did you experience? Like
We were building during COVID, so, like, our specific winery, it was just mostly, like, just, like, our building costs, like, tripled,
okay,
and
yeah,
that was not fun. So, like, the logistics of trying to get our winery started during COVID
yeah,
really went out the window.
yep.
But in terms of, like, what we were seeing in the industry, though, it was everyone was buying wine. It was insane, like, people are at the liquor stores at, like, 9 AM. It's there is no shortage of wine going out.
Yeah.
People were nursing themselves at home through some red wine, and that's fantastic. I love that for all of them.
Yeah.
I was also doing this.
Do what you gotta do to get through a global pandemic, it's fine.
Yeah, and then we've just had this huge switch where now no one's drinking, and it's like it's almost like what I've noticed now at the winery, it's like the wine's almost like a secondary experience. You
Yes.
can have the best wine, like we have award-winning wine, we got all the gold medals and the fancy things and stuff. That's still not enough though. People need an experience behind it. They want to feel something. They want to be involved in it. And
Yeah.
that's what we've seen the shift happening. So now it's more like I would say our winery is more like as like a destination winery
Mhm.
now instead of just like a tasting room with wine because people will come because you have wine.
Yep.
Now it's like, hey, you have a kitchen, we have a restaurant that's here, we do
Mm.
outdoor movie nights, we do like fun themed parties, stuff like that. Is we do educational events, so there's more reason. It's we let kids run around in the field, you can go for a walk in the
Yeah.
vineyard. It's more immersive now, and I feel like that's
Love that.
really resonating with people more.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's like you have to nowadays, I feel like. And, like, yes, depending on the winery, like, yes, the wine might be a bigger focus than others, but I see it here too, even at some, and it's funny, John has experience and works at a pretty, I guess you could say bougie winery, has a lot of art, is getting very well known, is very Insta worthy and all of that. But it's so interesting because people will come there like specifically for the art. Like they literally have an art tour that has nothing to do with the wine. So it's very interesting. And I think people are craving that. They're craving that connection. And I don't know, especially like here in like Sonoma Napa area, depending where people are from and how into the wine they are, they just wanna drink and they just wanna feel something and they just don't really care. Which I'm like, "Okay, that's fair, but also this wine is so good, like, enjoy it." So, it's it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see that? I'm curious too, actually. So where in terms of like where VOA is, are you guys I mean, Napa's freaking Disneyland. Okay. So, there's a lot of wineries like kind of next to each other ish. How is it up where you are? Is it a little bit more remote? Like paint a picture of like what because the Okanagan Valley is like gorgeous from what I've seen. I haven't been. I'd love to
Yeah,
go, but
so we're in the Okanagan Valley, which is definitely the largest wine region in British Columbia. There's, I think, 3 or 4 designated wine regions now. We're in the largest, and we're kind of smack dab in the middle of it. So
right.
we are in like a very like cute small town.
Okay.
We're like really well known for like thrifting in our little town. Like it's adorable. There's going to be like 15 to 20 wineries around
Okay.
us. We have some like local distilleries, local breweries as well too. So like we have like a good little wine route. Just like we're all probably within like 5 to 6 minutes of each other. And then there's like a northern chunk that has more wineries, but you're maybe 15 minutes tops, like
Okay.
for Summerland. Then you can go either way. If you go up more north more, you hit West Kelowna, Kelowna, Lake Country. That just all carries on with more wineries. If you go south, again, it's so we're not going to be as close as Napa Valley, like into like it's like just like one after the other, right? But definitely it's so easy to get around out here. We have like these big, beautiful highways. They drive around all of like the lakes, go through the mountains,
Sounds
and
beautiful.
wineries are everywhere out here.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so and it's so, I guess, convenient too, because it's interesting. I've worked for some wineries or I'm familiar with brands that it's so funny being kind of like in the middle of nowhere and having this really expansive like property is beautiful and it almost sounds like great on paper, but nowadays, that's the other thing I'm noticing. Getting people out there, like it's a kind of a convenience thing too. And I have seen some close, like up here, but also in other areas of California too. And that's interesting. And I think people are looking for that sort of communal thing. And there might be like a time and place to go somewhere like really remote, but it sounds like you guys are in like a great area.
Yeah, no,
I
we're
love
it's
that.
fantastic for us. Like we're by a golf course that drives us a lot of traffic as well too. We're only 6 minutes off the highway, so
Mhm.
that's really ideal. But like, yeah, if you're too rural though, like there's this one winery out here that's just gorgeous, and it's pretty far out there though, and they're
Yeah.
struggling. And before, I feel like that wasn't an issue. If you have wine, they will come.
Yeah.
It's like people don't want to drive that
The
far and stuff.
visitation, that's interesting. So it sounds like it could be a little bit I don't like, a little bit down where you guys are too. We're just yeah, not every winery up here, but, like, some of the ones that I have familiarity with, like, are struggling with that a little
I think
bit, and I it's interesting. I almost, like, don't know how to pinpoint what there could be, like, a lot of factors. I mean and again, would love to hear your perspective on this as a winemaker, but also, again, different country. I've talked to some other wine people on this podcast before as well that are also in different countries, and I think we see, like, some of the same things, but I think just drinking behavior in general, like, everyone's blaming, Gen Z and millennials and stuff for, like, not drinking and all the things. Proud millennial here. And I have to kinda, like, take myself out of it because 'cause we're in the industry, so we're in, like, kind of a little bit of a bubble, but I do see, like, drinking habits changing, of course, health consciousness and just, GLP-1s. Is it even a part of your diet anymore? Are you allowed to have it, right? Like, that type of thing. But I think there's so many options now too in the alcohol space that are not wine, and you mentioned, like, breweries and things around you too, so, like, there's that, and then if there are other options, are they quote unquote "healthier"? And wine is like of course, I don't wanna say, like, every wine brand does wine perfectly and doesn't do additives and things, but I think there are so many that don't add all of those things in, but wine just gets a bad rep for some reason. I'm like, as John would say if he were sitting here, like, wine is one of the most, like, ancient things that comes from the earth, and it naturally has sulfites, so it's, like, all these things that it's like, "Okay, you guys, wine's actually, like, real you could be doing a lot worse than wine." But
But look,
yeah, so I'm just curious, again, from your perspective, what this could just be your opinion too, but, like, what you're seeing there and what you think could be contributing to the current state of the
yeah,
wine industry.
I think wine is unnecessarily attacked because yeah, it is
Yeah.
like one of the oldest beverages, and there's like so many benefits to it, and like sulfites get me so fired up,
Same,
so fired.
same.
Like,
I
yeah,
get headaches, I
these
can't drink wine because of sulfites. Mm.
Just sulfites. Yeah, because it's like, no, you don't even get it. Like, yes, we don't have to like dump it full of sulfites, but it is actually also a natural
Throw them
byproduct
after
and it's there
sulfites, okay.
regardless. And if you can eat like pickles and granola bars and French fries, then like you're fine. It's not the
It's
wine,
probably your
okay? You
overconsumption and not drinking water and all the things.
Yes, that's the other thing too. It's like I think wine is obviously very good in moderation, but
Yeah.
it depends on what you're consuming though.
Yep.
And I know I'm guilty of overconsumption. It's just because being in the industry, it's just so hard.
Yeah.
But there's definitely been a change for sure. I'm hoping that they don't come out with they wanted there's like this whole trend right or like movement right now for like cancer warnings on wine bottles, like what they're doing with cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know. Like yes, okay, we get it. Honestly, everything causes cancer these days. Okay, like whatever, we get
Plastics in
it.
our
You
food,
can
like, hi, we could go on and on. Like, are they gonna put that on
like
there?
guarantee that at this point now. Okay, like let me just have my red wine and not have like this like ugly, gross like warning on it. It's
Yeah. I know.
yeah. We did actually pivot into the non-alcoholic wine space though because we saw this trend
Okay,
and
cool.
struggling with our own consumption as well. And
Yeah.
they're just really good options out there.
Mhm.
They're like too like, not enough flavor, like,
Yeah.
too watered down,
Yeah.
or they were just super sweet, and it's like, well, I'm gonna consume that much sugar, I might as well just consume the alcohol,
Right.
or they're expensive as well too, and
Yeah.
it's like, ah, like a drinking problem for $30 a bottle, like, that's fine,
Right.
it's okay,
No, seriously.
you know? But then our non-alcoholic though has made a huge difference though in our sales.
Wow.
It's going to be at least 30% of our sales. We're probably going to be close to 40% of our sales
Oh
is
my
non-alcoholic this year. Yeah, so we have very archaic shipping laws out here in Canada, which hopefully are being changed in May. So fingers crossed for that.
yeah.
But we go all across Canada for non-alcoholic. We actually got into Walmart, and you can sell to so many different places, right? So we got like flower shops. We have I don't know. I started really strong with that flower shop. We just have like all like U brews are really popular actually for non-alcoholic. Funny
Okay.
enough, yeah, grocery stores because we can't sell regular wine only in select grocery stores out here. It's
Okay.
not like the states we can get it everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's very different in that aspect. But no, it's been nice. It's definitely opened up a wider window for us. We're currently working with like a big arena right now, and we just did like a tasting with them during one of the hockey games. And
Oh.
so many people dismissed us because they're not drinking. And we're like, no, no, it's non-alcoholic. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, let's go. So it's wild the difference. And then I've also noticed it's not necessarily like pure abstinence.
Yeah.
It's people about pacing themselves.
Moderation.
They'll they'll have a glass of wine or two, but it's like a social event where it's outside
You're
barbecue or
kinda
something where
sipping,
like
it's not you're not just trying to
you just
guzzle wine, like
relax, right? Like it's a very social aspect. And then to switch to like sparkling water, it's just it doesn't have that same thing.
yeah.
So and then because we actually still ferment our wine or we still ferment the juice into wine and then we remove it. So you
I was
aren't
gonna ask
getting
you about that, just winemaking wise, how that works. Okay. Yeah.
so we use it's a vacuum distillation technique. So the most common methods on the market are reverse osmosis
Yes.
and then traditional distillation. But like traditional distillation is like your like cooked $8 non-alcoholic grocery wine that's like been sitting there for like the last 15 years.
Ew.
And then reverse osmosis is really popular
Yeah.
as well. I find you have to manipulate the wine so much though when
Mm.
you're doing an RO method. So we did vacuum distillation, which is a spinning cone technology. It's like a giant centrifuge and it sucks out the
Whoa.
alcohol on like a molecular level. So the wine is less manipulated. We don't
Mhm.
kind of have to rebuild it.
Mhm.
After like osmosis, you like filter it all water and stuff, and then you kind of restructure it.
Yeah.
So really left the wine intact. It's been super hard to figure out how to do a white wine without it tasting like just like pure acid. It's just like lemon water.
Yeah.
It's your perfecta, your trifecta, right? You got like your fruit, your alcohol, and your acid.
Yep.
And then when you're removing one of those, it's like, so the
They
acid
need
is
each other
really
kind of. Yeah.
yeah, it needs to balance it out. And like we're not adding acid, it's just because we've removed a component that now the acid is really dominant, which is crazy how much of an effect it has on it.
Yep.
But like we're playing around with different things. We found with our Merlot, if we let the fruit hang longer and we have a higher alcohol Merlot, we get more like fruit flavors forward. The acid's not as dominant. The tannins as well stay really prevalent in there as well too.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
We're working with the Sauv Blanc for our wine. We tried Chardonnay and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Chardonnay can be so many things. I call it the chicken of wine because like what can't you do with Chardonnay? But to make it into non-alcoholic is a little hard.
Yeah, yeah.
We're playing around with the Sauvignon Blanc because people are used to it being in a naturally high acid style,
Yeah,
right?
and I
So
feel like
they're
that's very popular, right? The aromatic whites, like, I don't know how it is in Canada, but, like, aromatic
right.
whites is having its moment right now. So Chenin Blanc, Sauv
Yes.
Blanc, but
Yes.
so leaning into that, which is good.
Yeah, yeah, and then obviously, of course, sparkling, you just throw bubbles into anything and it fixes all of your problems.
Yeah.
Like, wine, emotionally, like, it's all good. It's who doesn't want a glass of bubbles?
Seriously. It is genuinely one of our favorites. Like, it's just such an easy go-to. Like, generally speaking, depending on what food you're having, but it often pairs very easily and well with food. And yeah, that's so
Oh,
interesting.
yeah,
I'm glad for you guys that you've leaned into that because I think some people are still trying to figure out, or they're a little, dare I say, behind the times. But I think a lot of the wine industry is not always fast to react to things, and rightfully so.
no,
Like, it is not the cheapest business to like run, and there's a lot of studying and study groups and understanding the consumer behavior that you have to do to, like, get a product made, right? That
yeah.
people are gonna
But
drink.
then suddenly, trends already moved on, and you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god."
And the
Yeah,
the
it's
the trend, right? And so I think they're trying to figure out, like, is this a trend? Is this really here to stay? Whatever. And so you guys have a tough job.
yeah. I know it's a lot. It's we didn't invest. We've actually been outsourcing our de-alkalization, so we
Mhm.
didn't invest in the equipment yet because we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is
That
it
is so
working or
expensive
like is
too.
it
Like
gonna be
making
like
wine, oh my
not
god, is
useful
it
for us in a
just an
few?
expensive process in general? But then, the machines and all the like a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah, no,
can't, most places can't buy that themselves unless you're like a big
right?
guy. But even with the bigger guys, they cross utilize, like, they're at least here, like, are utilizing the production facilities and whatever, like, for multiple
Yeah, yeah, and
wineries. Like,
yeah, 10 different wineries are made out of that same production facility,
yeah.
right? No, it's very out here. We have like 3 or 4 big conglomerates that own like majority of the wine industry, and then it's all like small to medium wineries that are like family owned and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's tough. And then that's not even factoring in if there's like a glass shortage going on or
There's
like
always
court
something.
tariffs. Like it really does not end.
No.
Manufacturing is not for the weak.
No.
Like wine is so cool because it's
Yeah.
like it's what do they say? It's like it's an art form, it's
Yeah.
storytelling and like and it is,
Yeah.
but like being a winemaker, as like romantic as it sounds, like I'm not frolicking in the vineyard every day. It's like
It's
a lot of paper, it's
yes.
regular bodies, like it's reporting,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot become, like, general managers, essentially, too, like, that you guys wear so many more hats than
Mhm.
what people think. Actually, that's a great question for you because I wanted to just also dig a little bit back into, because I think for anyone here listening, like, getting into the wine industry, first of all, I think this is all really interesting and good to know, and not to, like, de-romanticize the wine industry, but I think it's a very important and interesting thing to kinda, like, get some background on, pull back the curtain a little bit, but, like, talk to me a little bit about just, like, the behind the scenes perspective of, like, building a winery. You've already kind of, like, mentioned some of this, but, sourcing, the actual making, like, what a winemaker actually does, and
Yeah.
also any, like, putting out a fire moment along the way, and just, any of the struggles. Like, we wanna hear all the tea.
Honestly, just about like so many fires. Fires happen all the time.
Maybe
Fires
even the
sometimes
literal
fires
fires.
one time, actually, it was last year. It was in like two 2 to 3 months before harvest. And we actually had a really bad summer storm, and lightning actually hit our production facility,
Stop it.
and our electrical panel caught on fire and
Fire.
fried half of the building.
Oh my god, you
So,
can't
like,
make this
sometimes
stuff up.
fire, sometimes not. But you know what? We were able to get it figured out, and we just had like a delayed harvest, but it was all okay. But
Oh
yeah,
my
like
god.
so many things. I know. And like we still had wine in tank at that time. So we bottle on demand. Because
Okay.
we do alternate packaging as well. We do 4 liters, 16 liters. We also do some private label for restaurants. So we don't throw everything in bottle right away. We keep some of it in tanks to allow some more flexibility. But you're watching that. You're catering to it every week. You're checking the levels, like the SO2 levels and stuff. It's how is it aging, right? Like God forbid a seal goes is weak or something, then it's oxidizing. Like you're
Yep.
constantly testing all of that. The things that I guess a winemaker does, it's a lot of sourcing.
Yeah.
So we actually started with honey wine because when we planted our vineyard, we didn't, because there's so many rules out here. So we weren't able to buy grapes right away.
Mhm.
So we actually started using honey wine as like a little alternative to kind of break into the market early. So we were using all different kinds of fruits. Sometimes we were doing hybrids with grapes as well too. But you're like talking with the farmers, you're visiting their farms, because as much as like yes, they're growing it and they're very good at growing it too, you also like I'm looking for a certain like depending on like the style, like if I'm going to make a sparkling wine, I want it to be harvested early. I want those acid levels. So you're constantly monitoring their fruit as well as my fruits, you know?
Yeah.
So 2 acres that I'm taking care of, but we're overseeing about 15 acres
Oh
actually
my god.
of various fruits that we use to then turn into wine. And then some things happen, you get diseases in the vineyard or just other crops that we use, bugs come in, there's always a variety of issues. I always say winemaking is easy. It's until something goes wrong.
Until it is not. Yeah.
Then ferment sauerkraut, you can make wine. It's just if something goes wrong. And
Yeah.
they really can't teach you that in books. Like, yes, a little bit in theory, but it's like, no, you kind of just got to keep going through experience. We have a lot of people behind us that have been in the industry for 20, 30 plus years. So we bounce a lot of ideas off of them. Everyone has a different answer to
I'm
something as
sure.
well, too. So it's like a lot of collaborating. It's a lot of personalizing your wine, really,
Yeah.
into like what you want, what you like. Then we're constantly sourcing materials, bottles, corks, screw caps. Do you want it branded? Do you not want it branded? What are the costs?
These are the things I
I
don't think
bought,
people think about. Like, we do because 'cause we're,
no,
like, on the back end and it's so interesting, but, like, if people ever question, like, why a wine is maybe more expensive or whatever, like, it's such a labor of love. Like, if
yeah,
there was ever anything in this world that is a labor of love, it is that.
literally. And like the catalog is like this thick and has a bazillion different types of oak in it, different types of screw caps. It's different, all the different colors that you can get. And then
Yeah.
you'll love a color and then a special order for a few weeks. And you're like, oh, well, do I love it that much? It's
Like, I guess I'm not married to it. Okay.
and different bottle types, different bottle styles. I've actually simplified my bottle styles just to like regular standard Bordeaux's
Yeah.
because I love like the burgundies and the fat bottles and the cool shapes. But then trying to put them on a wine rack, you're like,
Yes.
oh, it doesn't always fit. It doesn't store nicely. I can't stack in my cute little pyramids. And you're like, oh god damn it. Like it's
The little
so we
things.
yeah, it's so many little things like that too. Like it's like it looks so perfect on that table there with like this beautiful wax dip, cork,
Yeah.
everything. You get into the wine and you're fighting for your life.
Right.
Then you wine and it's falling off your wine rack. You're like, oh my god. Or it just doesn't even fit in your wine
That's
rack. And you're
so
like, okay,
funny.
so I won't put it there. I'll get a new wine rack for these specific bottles. Yeah. And then the labels. Labels, I am probably the longest label maker in the entire world. It takes me like at least 8 months to come up with a design
Yeah.
because I've edited like at least 40 times. And it's like a group effort. Like we have the rest of our team in on it. I'm like my parents, my brothers, and everything, or
Your
like
crew,
anyone.
everyone.
I'm like staying crap. But it's all those little things that add up into it, though. You
They
know?
do. Those are okay, thank you. These are the behind the scenes things that I love to talk about that I just don't think, if you're not in this industry, how would you know some of that? Or you might figure some of these things, but genuinely the thought and the consideration that goes into everything, both from like what is going to resonate as a customer, right? What's gonna stand out on a shelf or what's gonna be convenient to put in their own wine rack, whether they drink it now or later or whatever, all these things.
Mhm.
But also the cost on your guys's end. There's a brand I'm working with right now that's like they're known for very big, heavy bottles, and they're beautiful and they're pretty expensive wines. So I get that. But like they're going through this whole thing where it's like we want to be better for the environment, but also we gotta save some costs. And it's gonna save thousands and thousands and tens and thousands of dollars in shipping just to adjust the bottle like a little bit. And
Yeah.
again, those are the decisions that like behind a $30 bottle of wine you might not see, right? And so,
It's crazy how
uh,
it stacks up. Right? Like
yeah,
two bunt, two bunt.
right.
things. Like it's so many fine details. It's do you do like we have corked wine and screw cap wine.
Yeah, I
We
was
also
gonna
did
ask you about
glass
that.
because we couldn't get regular glass. So then we had to
Mhm.
splurge on like fancy glass cork bottles, which was really expensive,
Yeah.
but it was all we could get at the time. So we're like, okay. But consumers love the glass corks.
Yeah.
But to bottle them is so painful.
Yeah.
It makes the process so much longer. So it's like, okay, we're not going to do glass corks.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do, but then you don't want a affordable bottle of wine with a cork because people just want to get into that shit,
They're
right?
not
Like
probably gonna be
$20.
aging it.
Let
Right, right.
method each. Let's go.
Yes.
I don't need a cork,
Cracker open.
right? But
Yeah.
then you capsule with your cork, or do you not? Like, there's so many minute details
Yep.
that don't make it seem like it actually matters at the end of the day. But then when you're on a shelf in a liquor store, I've been at some liquor stores and I'm like, oh my God, where did they put my, like, I can't even recognize my own wine on the shelf
Yeah.
because there's so much. And it's like, oh God, okay, we gotta up that branding then because I can't even recognize our wine on the shelf because there's so many options and there's so many different ways you can do it. An embossed label, not embossed
Yep.
label. Like it's oh,
It's
right. The
crazy.
texture. Yeah.
Yes, and it all adds to the like, yes, a lot of again, marketing brain. Like, yeah, it adds to like the marketing thing, but like people we're tactile, right? And it's like when you're going into a grocery store, again, I'm trying to like put myself and the person that does not work in the wine industry, but like
Right.
as a woman, I'm not gonna lie, like I do go sometimes for pretty bottles. Like those are the ones at least that capture my eye. And then thankfully, because we work in the industry, we can look at it. We kind of know what we're, you know what I mean? I know if it's gonna be generally, if it'll be a decent bottle or not. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that, like, the label and the packaging and the whole thing, like, doesn't matter. It does, like, and I see a lot of not just labels, like, brands, like, branching out, doing some really interesting things on their labels, different colors, different because like, oh, the pressure to stand out is probably I mean, in many industries, is, like, more complicated than ever, so
Yeah. And, like, branding is so expensive too. Like, we didn't do branded wine boxes because 'cause we're like, "Why? Like, who is
yeah,
paying that much into the case?"
yep,
But then when you're in a liquor store and you see a stack of wine, it's all
yep,
these branded wine, there's, like, this subconscious
yep.
that you're recognizing the brand all the time, and you're like, "Ah, no, okay.
Yep,
Probably should do that."
yep, it's part of the whole vibe, and it just the yeah, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, and then you got your whole farming aspect that we had touched on,
Mhm.
right? Because wine is farming at the end of the day, as much
Yes.
as it is also too, but then it's farming, so you gotta and you're growing the crop essentially kind of the year before, right?
Yeah.
Like it's your right? So it's you're relying on that. Yeah, it's farming, it's marketing. We
Weather.
don't even talk social media. Yeah, then you got the weather that you cannot control. We've had 2 bad years
Ugh,
where actually the first year and it got down to negative 35, which is not normal for the area out here. We were fairly lucky. We lost about 35% of our vineyard, which wasn't the worst, but because we planted them really low, so we were actually able to cover them with dirt.
okay.
So they were at least insulated because that's like how north we are. I know California would never, but a lot of places couldn't do that though because their vines are so tall, so they weren't
Mhm.
able to insulate them or offer any kind of thing.
Right.
So we have vineyards that were losing 100% of their it's and like they're pulling out 30, 40-year-old vines and it's like how do you recover from that? Like it's
Wow. Yeah, oh my gosh,
yeah.
don't even get into the having taking out vineyards and replanting and the exp yeah, we're seeing a lot of that actually happen
Wildfires.
around here too, which is interesting, and again, this is, like, reaction to consumer behavior, and this is a really expensive risk, is people are sometimes are they're taking out whatever vineyards they had before and putting in more aromatic whites, and I'm like, "That is, like that's a decision. That's a really big freaking
Yeah.
decision you're making." Like,
Right, you can't go back on that.
no, not for or it'll cost you, I guess, but, like, I it's yeah. Yeah. Okay, really
Yeah,
quick, you
no, it's
touched
all
on, like, the social media, the marketing piece, because I wanted to really as we kinda slowly start to wrap up, I wanted to touch on VLA specifically. I wanna know, like, where the name came from, like, your specific brand, I kinda wanna dig into that, so maybe we can touch on this, the social media, the marketing aspect, like, as we're talking about that, but, like, give me a little bit of background on your brand specifically, how you came up with it, your vibe, just all the things.
yeah, so VLA is actually the phonetic spelling of our last name. It looks like Violet, but my
Yeah.
husband's friend is VLA,
Okay.
and we built So, like, everyone always pronounces it wrong, so we were like, "Oh, we're gonna spell it phonetically and, like, we'll one up everyone." It's kind of just as hard, not gonna lie, so, like, it was good intentions. And he also has such a long lineage of winemaking, so that was kind of like our way of like tying it back to the family.
Oh,
His winemaking stuff goes back to 1866, like over in Europe. The winery is actually still functioning. It's not family owned anymore, but it
okay.
still is functioning in Europe. It's actually owned by Pernod Ricard,
Okay.
and they do a wild, like bunch of different stuff out of. They're doing like cognacs and spirits and liqueurs and stuff because it's like this
Wow.
huge alien liter facility. Like there's so many things that they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so this is in
Um,
France specifically that okay, like, just generally speaking, like, where in France is it? I'm just curious.
In Perpignan.
Okay,
Perpignan? Yeah, yeah, south of France.
south. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. Cool.
yeah. So and then it was his grandparents came over, and they actually started the first winery in the Fraser Valley out here,
Okay.
which is another little wine region, like close to like Vancouver, if you're familiar with BC. And that's like where we met. That's like where I really started like the winemaking side of my career, and that's like where he like grew up. So it was kind of like this way to like tie it all together while
Mhm.
kind of honoring the lineage, honoring ourselves. And then we went with a very non-traditional winery. We're very casual. We really wanted to go into that farm aspect
Mhm.
and kind of remind people that's like, yes, this is a farming byproduct,
Yeah,
essentially. Like there's tractors going all the time. We have a lot of animals. So we use a lot of our animals for like crop rotation,
yeah.
manure, things like that. We are mostly spray free. When we do spray, we still use organic sprays because some things you can't get away from.
Mhm.
But we use like there's chickens everywhere, there's ducks, like they're out in the vineyard, the pigs are in the vineyard, eating
Farm,
all the
like,
weeds stuff. Yeah, it's like full farm aspect. And we've tried our best to like contain the animals, but they just
they're
there's
animals.
no get out. So
Yeah.
like we really wanted this fun, casual wine experience. We have like this like beautiful outdoor grassy setting. We don't have a lot of indoor space, but it's just like a place you can come and be casual.
I
So
love
that's what
that.
we really use it as is like a
Yeah.
casual wine experience.
Yeah.
I love, and like Napa's so big for that too. Like I love that like get all dolled up, dressed up, heels, and it's like this whole
Time and
huge thing.
place. Sure.
But time things, right? And like
Yeah.
because we're also such a small team, it's like I don't know if I can be like on like that
Yeah.
all the time.
It's exhausting.
And it would say reflective of who I am as a person. So it's like I didn't want to build just a business. It was more building like a lifestyle for the two of us, something
Yeah.
that fits seamlessly into our life, that it is reflective. Like obviously, yes, of course, we're still professional and all of those things,
Mhm.
but it's really reflective of who we are as individuals. And some people love it, some people don't, and that's okay. Like this is not the space for you then. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Go get I'm sorry your heels got stuck in my vineyard dirt. It's it's I'm sorry if you don't have a lot of paved pathways. It's
Yeah. Also,
just
know
really
where you
kind
are. Like, that's really funny because there are definitely tourists and things that we'll see out here that, like, forget where they are. Because honestly, Sonoma, more a little more so than Napa is definitely Napa has such a bad rap for being a little bit pretentious. There's definitely some wineries that are not. But Sonoma it leans a little bit more casual and into, like, this less heels, like, that kind of vibe, which I think people
of
appreciate, but it's still so funny to me that no matter where you are, like, there's always gonna some people that, like, dress wrong, who are just not for, like, where they are, or they'll go to wineries and, like, we live near, like, kind of a Pinot and Chardonnay area here, for example, and they're like, "Oh, I really like, bigger, bolder reds, like Cabernet. Do you have a Cabernet?" It's like, "No. Do you even know where you did you look online before you came, like, did you do any research before coming here?" And, just not even it's just funny. I could go on and on about that, but it's like
Oh,
that's not what we're known for, you know? So, but what I really appreciate and sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just gonna say, I really appreciate the authenticity. I think that's what people want and need more than ever right now, and I think you made an amazing move and leaning into that and not trying to, like, put a front on because it's, like, what you think other
right.
people would have wanted, you know what I mean? You're being yourselves, and people are gonna feel that, and I'm sure they do when they visit you guys.
Yes, I hope they do anyways. It
Yeah.
seems like it. So we're gonna be entering our fourth summer this year. So we're still like brand new, but like our repeat customers that we have, it's not like now it's just like they'll even email me and like let me know when they are coming. They're like, hey, this is the weekend we're coming up. It's like, oh my God, yes, Dave and Sharon, 30 year in a row. Let's go. Like it's you just like they're friend. Like we've become friends with
Yeah.
so many of us. And I think that's what I really love about it is that it's we can just make it more of like an intimate experience. And we are a small winery at the end of the day too. Like our capacity is 100 people
Yeah.
outside. Like it's we pour wine on tap following into that like casual wine experience.
Mhm.
So a lot of wines come on tap. Only there's very few ones that we pour by the bottle. Usually like limited wines are done by the bottle.
Sure.
We do like wine flights. We have wine slushies. I offer if someone wants ice cube in their wine, I'm like, absolutely. Like, why not? Who am I to tell you how to drink your stuff?
Wine's very
Like it's
subjective, right? It's yeah.
subjective.
What you think the best vintage is or whatever. There's a winery that I went to in Napa once, and I think they gave us maybe like 3 wines, right? And they were like, "Okay, what is there's a best vintage out of all of this. Which vintage do you think is the best?" We all had our different guesses or whatever. And he was like at the end of it was kind of like a little anticlimactic, but he was like, "The best vintage is whichever one that you liked the most." And we were like, okay, but it was like my first I was like youthful 20s at that point, and I wasn't in the wine industry yet, and I was like but that was like my first lesson in like, oh, it really is how you prefer it. It really because your taste buds are different than the person next to you, right? So,
Exactly,
yeah.
yeah. I'm all like real connection versus like flashy tactics,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Makes it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, really quick, kind of my last thing for you, because you mentioned social media, so I'd be remiss if I didn't, touch on that, especially being in that part of the industry. How has that been for you? That's another thing where I feel like a lot of wineries are always trying to find their identity and what works and what resonates. And what have the learnings been for you there?
Oh god, yeah, and it's like a full-time job.
It's ever evolving. As someone who works in it, I'll tell you, it's like you
Yeah, it is
feel like you get it right.
constant.
Yeah.
Consistency is definitely key over perfection.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I learned. I used to be so I don't know if I'd be paranoid, but like just like over micromanaging, like the posts and videos and like, oh my God, we should take out the last 3 seconds. Like, no, just post
Freaking
it.
post
Like just
it.
get it just be consistent. So consistency over perfection for sure. There's not like a day that goes by that I don't want to like hurl my phone into the lake.
I feel your pain.
It's constantly there all of the time. There's luckily so many tools out there though.
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of like building better systems. So like using an automated poster, using like when someone follows us, it'll be like an automatic greeter
Yeah.
message or like, hey, these are upcoming events, like things like that.
Yep.
Like using the tools around to help stay on top of it.
Mhm.
Posting on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Threads and TikTok and God knows whatever else comes out there. Yeah, it's just being consistent, I think is the biggest thing that I've learned.
Yeah.
And then that authenticity and just putting it out there, going on your stories, interacting. It's not just like these perfectly curated videos, it's going on your stories, walking in the vineyard with like live with
Yeah.
what's happening going through harvest. Like, these are the grapes we got. This is what's happening. Like, oh, it's raining right now at the winery, but hey, we got covered. We got umbrellas. Okay, we
Yeah.
got mulled wine. Let's go. Still come hang out. It's yeah, really opening up the dialogue and using it more to connect versus
Mhm.
just like a curated feed.
Yep.
Um, in terms of identity, though, it's so chaotic, and there's like a bunch of different stuff. There's animals on there. There's like trendy reels on there. There's like random photos. We just put it all out there, and
Yeah.
we figure it though, right? Like it's because we're still so new and young.
Mhm.
We don't really. I guess we have an idea of whatever our identity is, but we don't know like what makes something go viral. All right.
Yeah.
So it's okay. We're gonna this way, and then we're gonna try it this way. And it's like, okay, what performs better? So like lots of like A/B testing has been
Mhm.
going on, and it's yeah, but it's a full-time job, and it's
Eye-opening.
not.
Yeah. I love that though. You know what? I think people are leaning into like I'm not calling you guys messy, but they're leaning into the messy. You know what I mean? Like, yes, sure, there might be like a backbone of the brand identity and stuff like through it, but I definitely work with some brands that are quite curated, right? Or they lean into the really professional photography. And some of the more like trendy things that we might do like tend to do better because I think people appreciate the authenticity. They're appreciating something that's not uber polished, right? It's starting
Right.
to feel a little less relatable, and I think also, especially on TikTok, like, seeing a face behind the brand, if you will. So, like, for some brands that don't have the winemaker, like, readily available, or maybe they just don't feature the winemaker, that's not a thing, like, just posting bottle after bottle after bottle, like, it gets so boring, and so
So
I get why
boring.
people aren't resonating with that. They wanna see a lot of different sides of a brand because they wanna be able to connect with it. There has to be some human element that makes it relatable and interesting and, like, worth drinking out of every other freaking wine or anything else that they could possibly be
Yeah,
drinking.
it's the conversation, it's experience, it's not
Yes.
just rhythms. And I'm so tired of this whole like winemakers, like this mystical creature that's like too good to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
It's like their stuff, like yes, like it's
Yeah.
I'm regularly like in the tasting room. It's and sometimes I'm like dressed up for the tasting room. Sometimes I've been in the vineyard, so I like look like a farm person, and they're like, "Oh, do you even work
Which
here?"
you
I'm like,
are,
actually,
like yeah. Oh, do I ever?
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's but that's I think that's what makes it better though, because
Yes.
it's why are we drinking a product from someone, but we're not allowed to talk to the person who made it?
Yeah. Take down that
Yeah, like
barrier, like, break the fourth wall.
exactly. And like the fact that like winemakers are marketed for like dinners or like you can have like a curated tasting for
Yeah,
like hundreds and hundreds of dollars from the winemaker. Like it's like damn. I understand they're very busy people, obviously, and like time is worth
clearly.
money.
Yeah.
Think it's so nice to be actually to be able to put that human connection in. Like it's a business that feels human,
Yep.
not just product.
Yep.
Yeah. Not like
Yep.
luxury.
No, definitely. Because yeah, people can't taste the wine through a social post, right? Like, and especially if they can see where it's coming from, see the terroir, see how beautiful the estate is, whatever, how the rain is going to affect the vines that day. If the rain came a little early, like people sometimes nerd out on that stuff. So, like, I think it's
Yeah.
important for wineries
Exactly.
not to like underestimate that
Mhm.
type of thing when and I think it does help if they're really there's a lot about reaching a younger consumer right now. Like that's what's gonna help get. And even if it doesn't go viral, right? It's not even like the virality because like yeah, you might get followers, but then are they even engaged at that point? Or that's a for us like that's a vanity metric at this point. So like
Yeah.
I'll also encourage anyone here
Absolutely.
listening, whether it's your personal profile or anything else, like we always say, like don't even try and go for viral stuff because it yeah sometimes it can help and yeah some people might find you and get really engaged after that but a lot don't, and so it's so fleeting, right? So you to come back to your point, you wanna build the community and actually engage and have, like, those meaningful conversations,
Yeah. And like I
social or
think
in person.
marketing's an extension of how you treat people. So I think if you have like a
Uh,
very like standoffish, perfectly curated feed, it's and your winery might not necessarily or whatever business, it might not be that way, but I
yeah.
think it's definitely off a
It's a
certain way
little arm's
though.
length, it's like yeah,
Yeah. And if like there's something like there's like a really like funny feed or personable, or it's like sometimes I do just vibing with the person that's doing their videos. I'm like, yes, I want to go there. Like
yeah.
you seem fun. Yes.
Yes, exactly. We need more fun.
Love
We all
love
need more fun and more wine.
work. Yeah, absolutely.
More fun and more wine. Madison, this was amazing. I knew I was gonna have so much fun picking your brain and just digging into all sides of wine and building a business in a very, again, just fun but so volatile industry sometimes. But this was such a great conversation. I'm just so grateful to you for coming on and sharing, all sides of it with us. I could talk to you all day about wine, let's be real.
I know. I feel like you're like, okay, we're gonna be 45 minutes. We're gonna be dialed in. We're gonna stay on track. I feel like we could be here for hours.
Yes. Let's be so real. But again, thank you so much for coming on. And where can people find you? Perhaps buy your wines if they're able to. I know shipping things, it's always difficult, but
Yes.
connect with you on social, all the things.
Yes, so social or just about on every platform you can think of. VOLA Acres, VEOHLAY Acres. Same thing with our website, volaacres.ca. We are across BC with our wine. We're across Canada with our non-alcoholic, which is branded as Muse.
Okay,
So definitely
beautiful.
look out for that if you're trying to find some good non-alcoholic wine. And then for all of our American followers, you're going to have to come visit us, but we do actually allow RVs on site as well too. So, and it's actually free to stay. So bring your RV,
Oh,
pack up the family, come hang out with us for the
cool.
weekend. We got a beach volleyball court. We have a 9-hole disc
You guys out of
golf. We got a
everything.
vineyard. Yeah, there's animals around. We'll just like let the kids in the field. We'll drink wine. We do lots of events, barbecue, live music. So it's a fun place to be in summer.
Such
So come visit.
a fun vibe. Wow. And then are you guys closed for part of the season? I imagine because it could get
We
so
are,
hot
yeah.
out.
We get pretty terrible winters out here. So we're from May long to September long.
Okay.
And then we kind of like concentrate that
Good to
and
know.
just go hard and fun.
So cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Sounds great. Awesome. Well, all of that will be linked in the show notes. But again, Madison, thank you so much for coming on. This was so fun.
No, thank you so much, Tara. This is fantastic.